Have a perfect opportunity here to show how to clean a bike without using your pressure washer. Most people don't have a pressure washer. Pressure washers can push water into places that you probably shouldn't get it in. As you can see on this Honda, the mud that's baked on this thing, and it can be a little tough to get off. With a little bit of patience, you can clean this bike fairly easy. Best practice would have been to have sprayed it off when it was still muddy, but this isn't a perfect world, and that doesn't always happen. You can see the amount of dried mud on this bike. Down in the skid plate, she's carrying a pretty good load of mud down there. See a little bit of oil seepage there around his filter. But you can see the swing arm and how well the mud's packed up in here. Back up underneath the fender on the silencer. Oh, it might be too dark there. We got the same story here on this KTM. Dried mud. As you can see, it's packed up in there pretty good. Let's kind of come back here so show how clean the bike is. Whatnot. Dried mud. Same thing. We've got a pretty good load up above the skid plate. Back down inside. Thought I viewed a leaking seal here. Looks like we need a shift shaft seal. Start to seep there a little bit. Anyway, without high pressure water. The Super Clean makes a really good surfactant to lift the dirt up off the bike with a minimum amount of scrubbing. And you need a disposable spray bottle, something that can disperse the product, and an assortment of different brushes, to work on a couple of the deposits here. I don't like to mix this any stronger than 50%. It will dull aluminum and affect surface finishes over time, so a better mixture is probably about 30% with some water, and let's get started with that. Okay, back into action here. Let's just get the bike wet, soak down the mud, let it soften up. Don't need to try to remove it all at once here. Hard to watch what the camera's filming and do this at the same time. Anyway, let's soak this thing down. Soak this one down. Get up to everywhere you want to get the mud off. Basically, you just want to get wet. Working around in this junkyard here. Get up underneath. Get everything wetted up pretty good. And we're going to let it sit for about 5 minutes. Let this dirt think about it a little bit. Back to this one again. Give her another shot up underneath. Over on the wheels. Put it down here real good. And that skid plate carries a lot of weight. See where I missed on the KTM some more here. The mud starts to saturate, it'll start coming off. If you don't get enough water on this stuff, it takes longer. It's hard to properly inspect the bike with dirt all over it. Okay. We'll be back. Okay, I've gone back 2 times and just sprayed whatever loose mud would come off with just a water hose, and this is what we have right now. As you can see, most of the heavy deposits are gone. There's a lot of staining. You can see it on the tires in particular, and the rims and the hubs. tops of the fenders, the undersides. See a lot of mud still stuck to the plastic there. If you scrub on this right now, all it does is scratch stuff up. So you can see the swing arm and sprocket, how much mud is still stuck on this thing. Back there on the engine. Over here on the KTM, similar. You can see a little more. This aluminum finish is a little toothy. You can see there's a lot of stuff in the hubs and whatnot. Same thing. I mean, getting a brush and scrubbing away, you just make sandpaper. You see down here, I could pull this nice removable skid plate off. Looks like it's pretty dirty. And let's work our way around. You can see the plastics. Got enough tooth on it now with wear that dirt really sticks. So let's put a nice even coat of super clean on it, and we'll hit it with a hose, and we'll go from there. Just put a light coating of this stuff. Give the chemical a little bit of time to work. Don't need to put a ton on there. Just make sure that everything on here gets at least some of this soap on here. Just going to lightly go across the bike here. Spray everything down. Not get too carried away here. Anyway, we'll continue with this. Okay, the bike's had no scrubbing at this point. It's got a final coat of super clean on it. You can see she's pretty clean, considering. The tire's pretty muddy there. It's going to have to use a brush on that. That was some pretty sticky clay, but you can see all underneath here just how clean the bike is just from a hose and a little bit of super clean. Work our way around here, see how clean it is. Now I'm going to use a soft brush on these wheels and see just how clean we can get this. Okay, the KTM has had nothing but the water hose and super clean, and she's considerably cleaner than it was. If I wanted to get it much better, I'd spray the super clean areas where she's heavily deposited and use a light brush on it. Gives a chance for that surfactant to get in there, but really it's pretty incredibly clean considering what we started with here with this baked on mud. Obviously, if you have heavy deposits, you're not going to get it off without some work. You can see the chain lube down there on that block on the back of the case and whatnot. Some of the mud stains on the motor. It'd take a little bit of work to get that clean. But for basically a spray and rinse, she's pretty clean. See, the head pipe's got a lot of burned on mud. That needs to be pulled and chemically cleaned or blasted with some baking soda, and that'd get that nice and clean. It needs it. And the Honda, I used a brush just lightly on the wheels. I basically just went around it, and really it looks pretty clean. Anyway, that's how you can clean your bike without a pressure washer.